Hey everybody, it's Christopher. Well, I was going through some of my drawers of all my fabric stash. And you have to remember now, before we go any further, a lot of this fabric I have collected over the years since I've been sewing. I mean, I've been sewing since around 1990. And every year I get into a new project, so I buy different types of fabrics. In one year, I was making these really fancy holiday table runners, and I was using this fake silk dupioni. Look how beautiful this is, this beautiful metallic dupioni. And then when I wrote my book Pillows and I started playing around, I started punching this and making this a different texture and stuff for my Pillows book. But I brought this out because I was like, wow, you know what, it's time for a new table runner. And these will also make great backings for a pillow or embroidering, an embroidery design for a pillow, right? Just beautiful. So this video is all about inspiration. It's about inspiration and fabric collecting and adding to your stash every year. You know, a lot of people just do quilting, for example. And when they want to do another project and they go to their fabric stash, all they have is quilting cotton, that's it. So there's nothing elevated in their stash to say, oh, well, let me do a fancy table runner that's going to look expensive. Because no matter how expensive your cotton quilting fabric is, it really still never has that step above elegant look. And fabrics like these give you that step above glitz and elegant look. So don't be afraid to add this stuff to your collection. Don't be afraid to add these kind of fabrics to your quilts. I mean, if you really want to elevate, these are ideas I'm giving you. All right, so that's what that is. Now let me see what else I collected through the years. Oh, and then when I was doing my book Pillows, I also bought some of this. This is a very fine brocade. Excuse it for being wrinkled. It was in the drawer. And then look at, you have another side to it. Isn't that beautiful? So you're actually going to get two sides from one fabric. Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous. It's a butterfly on there. Let's see. Let me turn it this way. Yeah, butterfly print. Very, very almost Indian Asian looking, right? Very pretty. Boy, think what you could do with that. I mean, you can use this to make a, if you had enough, you can make a nice, beautiful bathrobe, back of a pillow. You know, anything you want with these. It's endless. It's endless. So you can always, you know, people think because you have a home sewing machine that you have to make everything look homemade. It's not true. You can get that high-end look, you know. We used to have a store before they went out of business called Pier 1 Fabrics. Who remembers Pier 1 Fabrics? Raise your hand. Give me a thumbs up. You remember Pier 1 Fabrics. And Pier 1 Fabrics used to carry all these elegant pillows and everything. And there's still home decor stores you can go to where they've got all these beautiful, elegant pillows and everything. And look at the fabrics they're using. And then head on over to your big box fabric store and see what they got to offer. You know, open up your mind. Now, I remember one time a client was telling me, oh, look at this. Here's another thing. You see all this? If you have a felting machine, all this thread here would be great to use for your felting machine. You see that? Waste nothing. You've got everything here. And that's what I did when I was doing my Pillows book, is teaching you all these great ways of using fancy fabrics, you know? Because the felting machine was originally used to use wool roving with, but I took it and said, well, wool roving is beautiful in its way, but it's not me. It's too country looking. You know, I want something a little more city looking, a little more metropolitan looking. So that's when I started playing around with fancy fabrics, and that's how I discovered the technique. So don't be afraid to experiment. You don't need anybody's permission to experiment. So every time you write somebody on these groups or on YouTube and say, oh, can I use this? Oh, can I do that? You know, the only way you're going to know is if you experiment, because you may come up with your own design. You may come up with your own technique by experimenting and discovering something. So you don't need anybody's permission. I'm not your husband. I'm a teacher that says, do it. Try it. Then get back to us and show us, right? Okay. So look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful. And this is a very fine, like a polyester silk. Isn't that nice? This will make a nice silk scarf. This could make some, you know, manipulate it into different folding of a fan. You could put interfacing onto this, make a beautiful fan, fan it out. Gorgeous material. That's a double-sided too. Look at that. Double-sided. You know, every so often you have to go through your stash. You have to go through your stash. Whenever you get bored and you're saying, what else can I make? And that's the greatest thing about being diversified in your sewing room. This is basically a sari fabric is when I bought it. This was under sari. See that? This is imitation silk. This is polyester. But it's made as a sari because in Tampa, there's a lot of India women. And my Joanne Fabric Store was selling a ton of this when I bought it several years back because ladies were making their saris. Used to see all kinds of people come into Joanne Fabrics. A lot of we had a fashion school there, and we used to get all these fashion students in there buying fabrics. With all these people ladies from India would come in there and they'd buy this fabric to make their saris. All of that. Excuse me. All right, let's move on. Here's some more here. This is a polyester type brocade. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful. What would you make with this? You can turn this into a pillow. And then if you need extra support, this is pretty beefy, but you could put a lightweight interfacing on. I would use a stretch interfacing, a very fine poly mesh or something. Interfacing, not stabilizer. Remember, there's a difference. Stabilizers are for embroidery. Interfacing is for construction fabrics. Okay? All right. Isn't that pretty? Now, speaking of brocades, excuse me again, a little clog in my throat today. Okay, let's start with the brocades. Now, years ago, I would make everybody's Christmas gifts, and the year I was making everybody's Christmas gifts, well, I should say every year I do make people's Christmas gifts, but this one particular year, I was making everybody bathrobes, okay? I think this was around 2005, 2006, I think it was. Everyone was getting a bathrobe. And my friends that I gave them, family I gave them to, still use them today. That's how they held up. And they say, I still have that bathrobe and I still use it that you made me. So look how pretty this is. Now, the cool thing about this was an ombre. Okay, this is before ombre hair became real popular. Look at this. Let me show you. Okay, this is before we started doing ombre hair in the salon, right? We were buying this fancy ombre fabrics. Look at this. Watch. I'm going to pull it down. You can see the colors change. You see how it graduates to different... Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my gosh. This too would make a great table runner for your elegant dining room. You would just have to, back it up. Put some stabilizer, interfacing, put interfacing, and then if you want to put a fine layer of batting and just, maybe run some sashiko through here or something, it would look beautiful. Or just do a little bit just so you don't ruin this beautiful print. Isn't that gorgeous? See, this is all about inspiration. It's all about showing you, what I collect through the years. And I don't throw any fabrics out. Don't throw your fabrics out because you're going to use them one day. Now, those bathrobes I made everybody, you ready to see what I used? Everyone was getting an Asian-inspired bathrobe back then. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? This is a brocade. And my local Joann's sold tons of this. Tons of this. It was a candy store. I'd walk in and I'd see all this beautiful brocade. And I remember when I looked at it, I said, I don't know what I'm going to use, what I'm going to make with it, but I got to buy it. And whenever you see beautiful fabrics like this, you want to buy a minimum, if you can, of at least 5 yards. Because with 5 yards, you can make most anything for anything you need, right? So this is what I have left over of this one. Here's the other side. So you're always getting two different sides to these. You get the side that's, I call this the popular side, the popular one, and then you have the one that's the backup one. Isn't that pretty though? Gosh. And I love working with these fabrics. They're just so beautiful. They're so beautiful. And remember, when you iron on these, you want your iron set on low temperature. The lowest temperature you can go where you can still have some steam. Okay, but you don't want to make sure you do not want high temperature on these because they will melt. They're polyester. All right. So then we go from that one to this. Look at this beautiful black. Oh my gosh. This was gorgeous. Look at that. And then here's the backing side. You get a silver. If you want a silver, then you could take accents of black like a pocket. Here's an idea for you guys. Watch this. Okay, so if you want to use this silver as the main body, then you can for like a bathrobe, then you can cut a black pocket out and put it on there. If you want to use the black and you want to add a pocket, for example, or a collar, the shawl. If you have a bathrobe that has a nice shawl collar, you can make it the silver for the shawl. You see? So you're getting two fabrics in one, contrasting. Isn't that gorgeous? Look how beautiful this is. Just absolutely beautiful. I love this. And this is a lighter weight brocade. This is a lighter weight. So this will be very, very soft on your skin, very lightweight. It will flow. You know, you got one of those bodies you want to show off. You put this on and you flow across the room in this. Just absolutely gorgeous. All right, then look at this one. This is a actual silver side, and then the other side is a gray. So you get two sides out of this. See that? Isn't it pretty? Now, a tip for you guys who are going to shop local at these big box store fabric stores, you know, the prices have increased so much everywhere because of our economy. So never, ever, ever go in there and buy anything that's regular price. Always look for it on sale. Okay, use your coupons. Okay. Using a coupon is not going to decrease the value of the quality of the fabric. It's just going to give you a better price. Because they're designed, the way some of those big chain fabric stores are designed, and they always print coupons, they're designed for you to take a coupon to go in there. It's like the JCPenney used to do all the time. Me, you know, I just wish they would make it one regular price, like everywhere. Just like when you go buy a sewing machine, I just wish they'd make them one price for everybody. It would make it so much easier, but they just want to hassle you. They just want to hassle the consumers. And consumers, for some reason, love coupons. I mean, coupons have always said value. Coupons were value. But if we just had a price across the board, it would sure save a lot, wouldn't it? Okay, and then, so this is beautiful. This is a beautiful brocade. I made a bathrobe out of this. Look at that. Look at that snake dragging through there. It's, oh, this is just, these Asian prints are so beautiful, aren't they? Just so beautiful. And when you're in a store, if you see something on sale, buy it, like I do. You buy it and you say, I'm going to use it for something later. This is about 12 years old now. These fabrics I'm showing you right now are left over from 12 years ago. And I'm going to make something of them this year. When I'm going through this drawer, my drawers, I'm going through everything and saying, okay, now I'm going to revisit this. And what am I going to make with it this time? Look at this one. This was absolutely good. This is all I got left of this one. So this would make a nice pillow. Nice, beautiful pillow on that. I might make a pillow out of this for Christmas, for 2022 Christmas. I have a friend, she has done her whole house in Asian, so this might just fit well in her house. We'll have to see. So yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit on everything, but you've got a sewing machine. If you have a sewing machine, don't limit your choice of fabrics. Be diversified. Go out there at the fabric stores and look at all these different fabrics. And if you've never sewn on these fabrics before, don't let that stop you. YouTube is full of information on how to do different things. If you limit yourself to one flavor your whole life, your life is going to be totally boring. Totally boring. So you've got to get out there. You know, when I became single, I started dating the whole United Nations. I did. When I first became single after being in a 17-year relationship, I started dating the United Nations. I've dated Italy, Pakistan, Vietnam, China, Brazil. You know, I dated all these different cultures, and I got to learn different things and how people are, because I was with one person my whole life, which was great. I was in love with that person, but the relationship at the end did not work out. The other person decided the grass was greener on the other side, and they decided to go elsewhere. So, you know, after that, you say, okay, well, let me expand my type of person that I should be with. You know, who should I be with? And you want to know something? I've learned so much. I learned different foods. I learned different cultures. I learned about different fabrics. I learned, oh my God, it was so wonderful. People think being single is a bad thing. It's not. It's not. Being single can be a wonderful thing. It can be a wonderful thing. There's so much to explore. And being single, you can explore it without any guilt, without any hiding. Too many people that are in relationships want to explore and hide on their partner. That's what my ex did. And I'm like, nope. I'd rather be single and explore different things. And that's the same thing, like for sewing. You see all these ladies on these sewing groups. Oh, they have to hide their fabric from their husband when they buy. And they teach each other in these sewing groups how to be deceitful that way. And I'm like, man, if you have to be in a relationship like that, get out of that relationship. You know, you'll never feel free. When you feel like you have to hide everything, you can't be free in your heart to create. You have to have freedom in your heart to create where you don't have this fear behind you. You know, why would you want fear? Fear prevents people from creating. Fear also can create some really terrible things, and it can also create some really dark things. So don't be fearful. If you're in a fearful relationship, you think about that. Think about, you know, do you want to stay there or do you want to be happy? All right? All right, so that's that, right? Look at that. Okay, now here's this. Look at this. This, I bought so much of this because I made a few robes out of this, and I think I have enough here to make another robe. This fabric is gorgeous. Let me find the opening here. It's so gorgeous, so gorgeous. Let's see. Where are we at here? Oh, boy. Where's the... Oh, here it is. Here's the beginning. Okay. Look at this. Watch. Look at that. Oh, my gosh. Is that gorgeous? Is that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. I love this. And then here, like I showed you, here's the back side, right? So again, this is a brocade. You got two sides. And this is perfect weight for like a bathrobe, right? It's beautiful if you want to make pillows, if you want to make pillowcases, you know, decorative pillowcases. I would not lay my head to sleep on here. I would use this for, you know, when you have a fancy bedroom, you have a fancy bed, you want to make it really nice. You make a pillow sham out of this, you know, oh my God, so gorgeous. Just so gorgeous. And look at all of it I have. I think I have probably about 5 yards in here. I must have bought like 20 or 40 yards of this because I made several bathrobes out of this. This is just beautiful. Just beautiful. So you see, the sky is the limit. You can be as elegant as you want by the type of fabric you use. You could be as simple as you want by the type of fabric you use. You know, if you want to be Zsa Zsa Gabor, or you want to be some glamorous queen, you know, you could be that. You could be that character in your own home by the choice of fabrics you select. Seriously. You could be as glamorous as you want. You could be Marilyn Monroe. You could be anybody you want, ladies. Gentlemen, you could be as dapper as you want also. You can have a home that looks like it belongs in some high-end Architectural Digest magazine, or you can have a home that looks like it belongs in Country and Western magazine. It's up to you. It's up to you by the choice of fabrics you choose. All right, look at this. Beautiful. This is beautiful. This has, I think it's glued on. I don't know. Let me look at the back. It's not sewn on. I think it's all glued on. This is like a metallic. This would make a beautiful, beautiful scarf, pillow. Like, again, there's so much you could do with these fancy fabrics. If you beef this up, it would make a beautiful decorative table runner on your dining room table, your formal dining room table, you know? Just beautiful. And you can add different things to it. And you can even embroider more on this. You can embroider more gold designs on this, right? Oh, just so beautiful. I always relate to fabric to personal relationships or things in life, people's homes. You know, things you watch on television. How many of you sit on television and say, oh, I'd love to have a home like that, or oh, I'd love to have those clothes that she's wearing. You can do it. If you've got a sewing machine, you can do it. All right, so now, let's look here. This. I call this Santa Claus. This is that Santa Claus fabric, right? This is that velour, that, yeah, it's like a velour. Everything sticks to it. If you, like I just was looking, everything sticks to it. Now, this is an idea that I had today when I pulled this out, because what I do is I alternate my sewing in my sewing room. I'm working on leather bags. While the paint is drying or the glue is drying, I'll go to the embroidery machine. I'll fire up the embroidery machine. So I'm always moving to different genres in my sewing studio, okay? This I saw and I said, this would make a dynamite pillow with gold embroidery on it, wouldn't it? And this doesn't have to be just Santa Claus. I could do a beautiful gold emblem Asian print on here. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? So you may want to stay tuned for that, because I think my next video I'm going to show you me embroidering it out on this. This is like an upholstery fabric. See? This is like an upholstery fabric. That's another thing too. Don't be afraid when you go to these fabric stores. Go to where they sell the fancy fabrics. Go into the upholstery area. Look everywhere. You know, a lady friend that I used to do her hair, she moved away a long time ago. But it was about, I'd say about 8 or 10 years ago. She saw all my pillows and all this. She goes, I don't know where you get those fabrics. I says, you go to Joann's, go over to Joann's. They don't carry that fabric. So I had 2 hours open after her haircut. And we didn't live, the salon wasn't that far away from Joann's. And I told her, I said, what are you doing after you get your haircut? She goes, nothing. I says, okay, you're coming with me. She goes, where are we going? I says, Joann's. So I said, meet me at Joann's. So she met me outside of Joann's. We walked in. The first thing she did was walk right to the cotton quilt fabrics. I grabbed her hand and I escorted her to the home deck department because she'd said, I don't know where you get all these fabrics. And I told her, I says, I keep telling you, the home deck department, the home deck department. She never went beyond the quilting cotton, right? When I took her back to the home deck department, she saw all these faux leathers. She saw all these beautiful upholstery fabrics like this. And her eyes just lit up. And I said, you do know now that this is the home deck department. And she goes, wow. And I said, why didn't you ever come back here when I told you to? She goes, I don't know. I guess I never thought that this was what it was. So you see, you can preach and preach and preach and you can lead a horse to water. But sometimes, sometimes you just got to grab their hand and direct them that way. And I set her free. I said, okay, now you're set free. Go buy whatever you want. I got to go back to work. So don't be limited. When you walk in these stores, walk everywhere. Look at everything. You just never know. So yeah, I think this is the inspiration right here for my next video to show you guys embroidering out. And then I found this fabric here. Look at this. This would make a nice backing. This is like a Dupioni. I would beef this up if I used the back. Let's see. Black backing on this. Oh, that would look really classy, wouldn't it? That would look very classy. This would look good in a men's den, a man's office, in a home that has these type of colors. Wouldn't that be beautiful with the gold embroidery on it? My gosh, the sky is the limit. Just think outside the box. Let fabrics talk to you. Let fabrics talk to you. Open up. We used to have catalogs. No one has catalogs anymore. They go online. Okay? Start exploring online. Look at different high-end websites of different things. Look at home deck areas. Go to different places. And then if you do decide to go shopping, if you finally get out and stop shopping on Amazon, if you finally take those 2 legs of yours and walk out to a fabric store or a home supply store, a home deck, where they sell like home goods or whatever those places are, if you still have any of those in your area, get out there before they disappear. Go get ideas in person. Look at their home deck department. I know we got a couple of those home goods stores where they're like big fat warehouses, and they've got tons and tons of pillows on racks like Pier 1, bigger than Pier 1 used to be. And there's so much inspiration there to look at. And go every season. Go there every season because they change every season. You'll get to see these things. So that's what I can explain to you. To teach you where to go to find and go for inspiration. Now, this is just one of my drawers. I have 24 drawers. I have 24 drawers of fabric, so you can see I'll never be bored. I know people say, hey Chris, I have someone I want you to meet. I have a friend that I want you to meet. Maybe you guys can get along. I'm like, no, well, it's fine. I'll meet someone for sewing, and I'll meet someone to enjoy sewing with. But listen. The coolest thing that you have to understand about people, because people get back into relationships and they keep repeating bad relationships. And here's what I want to explain to everybody. You have to be happy by yourself first. You have to be occupied, keep yourself occupied yourself first. If you need someone else in your life to keep you happy or occupied, you're not happy and you're always going to be in a bad relationship. So, I have always, since I was a child, was able to do things on my own. I can go into my room, close the door, and I can work in there for hours and hours and hours doing my own thing and being creative. There are some people that cannot do that. Some people turn to drugs or alcohol. They got to go to the bar all the time and get drunk. Those are addiction problems. Those are loneliness problems. There's a difference between living alone and being lonely. So you have to choose. Do you want to live alone and be fulfilled with creativity? Or do you want to be lonely and always go to the bar and drink yourself to death? Be creative, my friends. Please be creative. The world is full of inspiration and creativity. You have a sewing machine. You can do it. I always say that to you guys. Just do it. You can do it. Be creative. That's my preaching for today. And I tell you, I should be a minister or a preacher or somebody, because, I have a lot to tell you guys. I can, shake your ass and say, people, please do it. Just do it. Stop saying, I don't know how, or how do you do this? You have YouTube like this right now. You're watching me, you're listening to me. Okay, there's nothing you can't do. You just have to get into your mind to be more diversified and look at the expansion of fabrics and everything and threads. Oh my God, there's so much. There is so much, my friends. All right, I hope I inspired you. I hope I gave you a little lecture to make you think. And I love you all, and I really love seeing you all. And if you want to join my Facebook group, the link is below this video. You have to answer the questions to get into the group. And I ask that you participate and share your work with everyone else. And that's another thing in life that we learn. You can't always take, you've got to give in return as well. So give by sharing your work and inspire others like I'm inspiring you. Okay? Love you all. Take care. Bye now.